Oh, yes. So now we got a real treat, guys, because the next match is without a doubt the best, like 10 out of 10, 5-star match. This is a classic for years to come. We have the match of the All American hero, Cody Rhodes, with Arn Anderson, going up against the foreign heel, Andy Ogogo, with QT Marshall. And what can I say? It was a pretty so-so match. The only thing I like about the match is that, oh damn, like Anthony Ogogo, he does like them punches, man. He does deliver some like intense looking punches, man. Like you can feel those fuckers. But other than that, it was a pretty short match. I think Cody's intro is probably longer than the match. I'm surprised though. I'm surprised they actually called him the American Dream this time and not the Nightmare. I'm like, oh shit, and everything. And basically, what everyone else said, it was the most so-so match of the entire card. But thankfully, it wasn't too long. And I'll leave the rest up to you guys.
Yeah, that Geese Howard versus Mickey from Art of Fighting. I mean, Cody versus Go-Go match.
God bless your soul for remembering Mickey from Art of Fighting.
Just kind of there. But I gotta give Go-Go credit where credit's due. He was actually throwing some decent wrestling moves in. Like they've apparently put him through some good training. But yeah, at the end of it, it was just gonna be a wrestling version of a Rocky fight, and we pretty much knew it was gonna be Cody for the win. So, it is what it is.
This is what the definition of a piss break match is. It was pointless. It was a way for Cody to stroke his ego and get more pay-per-view time. I don't know the purpose of putting a new kid on pay-per-view and then just having him get beaten. Nobody talks about the fact that Ogogo actually has a legit orbital bone injury in his eye, and then he gets busted open, like, right above the eye. Like, no concern from any of the announcers. Nobody gave a damn about bringing that up because nobody cared about the match. It was just another one of those matches that was just there, but even less important than anything else on the card. Right? It was just so pointless, and I'm glad, like you said, it was short. It didn't last too long. It didn't take up too much time. I'm kind of over Cody. He is AEW's John Cena. He's trying to be the rah-rah, look at me, I'm a good guy, and pull for me. No, screw that. Give me heel Cody all day, every day. I'm tired of this. I'm the American Nightmare. Now I'm the American Dream for one night. I don't care about that. I want heel Cody. Good guy Cody is just not what belongs on TV right now. And I know there's an abundance of heels right now, and we need all the good guys we can get. But damn, we do not need Cody in this role. And why are we still having this feud? Like, why did this translate into a tag match on the following Dynamite? Like, shouldn't that have been something that we had previous Dynamite, not a follow-up Dynamite? This just doesn't make any sense. I don't know what the end game here is, and I'm kind of over Cody at this point.
Yeah, the two biggest things that come to mind for me, and nothing against the match itself, but the two main things on my mind are, number one, I saw a comment somebody made online not that long ago that really banged the nail about Cody in that he's way more over with himself than he is with the general population.
I like that.
Yeah, it's become very obvious that in his mind he is like basically Hunter level. And he's basically, you said he's AEW's John Cena. I'd even go so far as to say he's AEW's Triple H because he's also management. And he thinks he's the most interesting part of the show, even though to most people, not everybody hates him, but he's very few people's favorite part of the show. So I'd go so far as to make that analogy. But yeah, I don't hate him or nothing. I'm just saying, he's definitely a legend in his own mind. He's got a very high opinion of himself. That's very clear. But beyond that, and perhaps even more egregious, nothing against the guy, and maybe I'm old school on this, but I just think that the name Anthony Ogogo is wasted on somebody who's not going to come out doing like the Rick Rude or Val Venus gimmick. I mean, come on, Anthony Ogogo. Like, that dude should be walking out in a towel having women take off his fucking gear for him. That's it. But what do I know? It's too good a name not to do that. It's like Dirk Diggler. Like, of course that's what you do.
So I want to chip in. My opinion match. I think we said this also before in our we did this in our previous podcast. I think the whole idea of, in this case, USA versus the world, USA foreign enemy. We are now in a much more international world, so to speak. So this whole idea that it's like USA, and nothing against being patriotic to your country. That there's something wrong with that. It's just that this putting that on a wrestling match, it's just like, ugh, I don't know how I feel about that. Again, nothing wrong with being proud of of your country, proud of the USA. I don't know. And then Anthony Ogogo actually does have good talent on his own. Does have some saving points, but they really made him into a heel in this match for obvious reasons. And it's just like, from a personal point of view, I don't think even Anthony Ogogo was. Imagine having some of the talents or some of the good gimmicks you might have set to fill your set up to. I'm the evil bad guy from another country. It kind of sucked. And Cody Rhodes is a very talented wrestler, but yeah, I think he's really getting full of himself, and it's just basically this match is just like whatever. Because the way the match is set up, it was pretty obvious that Cody would have won the match anyways, because there's no way you're gonna make a matchup that's gonna be super like patriotic and super like pro USA and all this stuff. There's no way you're going to make Cody lose, so that it would just kind of ruin the spirit of the match, since they wanted to go that route. So that's just my opinion on the whole thing.
Bit of a foregone conclusion.
I don't know. I guess Cody just needs a better opponent. Like I was more interested in what he was doing when he was having a rivalry against Triple H, or even the rivalry with what am I saying? When he had the rivalry against MJF, I'm sorry, the whole MJF heel turn, whatever. And then when he had the rivalry with Jake the Snake Roberts with Lance Archer and all that, but I don't know, man. I just don't care too much. Like this thing. This is all part of this ongoing story between Cody and QT Marshall and stuff. But I don't know. I'm just not that invested. I don't know. I guess they're trying to put over these new guys, because you got all these new guys in the Nightmare Family, and then you got all these new guys in the Nightmare Factory. And I guess the end goal is to slowly build up these newcomers or whatever. But I just don't care. I don't know, man. I think it's time to just put a final match just to end it. Put 4 versus 4, end that shit, and move on to the next person. Have fucking Nero go up against Cody now, or something. Just someone else. I don't know. That could be part of the problem too.
The one thing about all of this that I have liked is actually the fact that some of these guys are getting something to do. Again, some of that selfish me and QT go back over 10 years, almost 13 years. I've known him, so I'm happy to see him in a big role. Nick Camarado, we spent a lot of time together at the Monster Factory, and that dude has it. He has everything. And to see him in a prominent role is about fucking time. So that's the thing. Maybe it could be against somebody besides Cody, yeah, but I will say this, the fact that he's even in a segment with these guys is helping them by association in a way, so I'm happy about that. But yeah, I agree that to me Cody isn't supremely interesting, but there is a trickle down effect that at least his involvement with these guys is helping some of these guys get some time that they deserve. I'll fight anybody who says they don't deserve it. But yeah, I do agree that, Cody himself is like maybe the least interesting part of that whole equation.
So in the end, by now, both Johnny and I did go for Cody, while everyone else went for Anthony Ogogo. So at this point, all five of us, counting Jack Knives as on this episode once again, finally have 1 point each. So yeah, this has been an interesting show. As usual, AEW is not that easy to predict as that their other show. But let's see here. So then we have one of the feel-good matches here to kind of wash the taste out of our mouths from the last one. We got Miro going up against Lance Archer, of course, with Jake Roberts on his side. And they're going for the AEW TNT Championship. Of course, Miro is the current AEW TNT champ. And as you expect, these two fuckers destroyed each other. It was insane, man. They just went after each other. I did like that Lance Archer still, he used the height advantage because, yeah, he's still taller them and stuff, but Miro's he's still a muscular, thick dude. He's not that easy to just pick up and throw around like you're used for smaller guys. So, yeah, Archer had his moments to overpower him here and there, but Miro he was just a fucking monster, unleashed and everything. There was a segment where Jake was trying to bring in his infamous snake, no pun intended, and what's his name? Miro actually grabbed the bag. I know people were making a lot of PETA jokes and stuff, but to be fair, like, we never saw the snake, okay? The bag could have just had a big fake one. I don't know. But yeah, like, Jake had the bag. Miro stopped. Miro grabbed the bag and just fucking flung that fucker like out of the ring, out of the whole fucking area and shit. And everybody's like, "Damn!" I remember Twitter. They're like, "Damn, Peter's gonna be asking about that." And even Jake posted after a couple of minutes after the match, like, "I checked, guys. The snake is okay or whatever." But everyone just like lost their shit when Miro just grabbed the fucking bag with the quote unquote snake in it and just fucking tossed it out of the whole area and everything. But yeah, in the end, Miro grabbed Lance in what he calls now the game over. I believe Lance still put up a little bit of a fight. He was still trying to stand up because, again, bigger than the usual dude. But you know what? No, he never tapped out. He fucking toughed it out until he passed out. So he won by passing out to the submission. So in a certain way, like, he didn't make him tap or nothing. He just fucking knocked his ass out with the game over / accolade. And Miro, of course, is still the best man with the AEW championship. But that was I just couldn't stop watching. That was like the perfect match to set up right after that Cody stinker. That was like an awesome one, man. I was just like eating popcorn and watching and like, damn, It's the reverse bathroom break.
Yeah, like, this was actually a battle of the big men that I actually liked and I actually enjoyed after all these years. And yeah, that was funny when Miro pretty much yeeted the snake clean across the room back onto the stage. And yeah, Peter's going to say a lot about that, but you also got to think about this. Jake the Snake Roberts has been using that snake in attack mode like it's been a Pokemon for the past 30 years. So, I mean, hey, it's fair play at this point. But, yeah, as far as the actual wrestling went, it was a very, very good match. Very back and forth between those two big guys, which I was highly surprised about. But overall, yeah, I definitely enjoyed that one. That was definitely one you shouldn't take a smoke break on.
Yeah, I mean, the match is exactly what you wanted. Two big, beefy dudes just beating the living hell out of each other for about 10 minutes, and that's what you want. There's not going to be a lot of finesse with these two, and that's okay, because Lance Archer is going to try to murder you, and Miro's going to try to break you. So letting these two just beat the living hell out of each other for 10, 15 minutes, I'm all for that. I would love to see another rematch. These two actually had a lot of chemistry together. I believe it was the first time they've ever fought one another, so that was a pretty cool matchup as well. And, it's a great start to Miro's title run. Definitely interesting to see where things are going to take him, and very interesting to see where things are going to go with Lance Archer. As I stated in the last podcast, I think this guy needs some wins, and if we're not going to push him in a singles manner, I think we need to look into getting him into the tag division, potentially bring in somebody like Harry Smith or somebody else that he can run with, and give him potentially a title run with the tag belts down the line. Dude has earned it. He's fantastic to watch. He's a lot of fun, a lot of charisma. And Miro is Miro, so I'm all for Miro getting a title, getting a significant run with it, and it being legitimized by how much of a badass he really is. His matches are fun to watch, so I really enjoyed this match. Just two big hosses going at it. I can't think of a negative thing to say of that at all.
What's going to be interesting to watch over the next couple of months is how they're going to handle Miro now with the knowledge. I mean, it's out there now after this past Tuesday. You have to assume that they're going to be bringing Lana. Like, you have to assume that. So
well, anal, right?
What's that?
Anal, right?
Whatever they end up calling her. But so, I mean, that's what I'd be calling her. But, like, how is that going to affect Miro's character? Are they going to keep the belt on him for even longer so that they can bring her in and kind of shine him up more? Or at some point, is he going to lose it and then need to bring her in as, like, a way to rebuild himself? Or is she going to come in and accidentally cost him the belt somehow? Like, I kind of think that this right here, this development with her is going to, like, add a couple more months onto his title reign. That's just my gut tells me. Because now that there's a new tool for them to use to play with him, there's a new angle there that wasn't available a week ago. So everything's sort of changed now. Whatever they had planned for him, it's going to be going in a slightly different direction because they're going to be bringing her into the mix at some point. They have to. So that's going to be kind of interesting to watch.
Okay, so, man, I'm sorry, but I really forgot everything by now about this match. But I do know that these are two big, really strong wrestlers. They probably went at it. And, well, it's pretty cool that Miro won this match. And kind of like what Rikki Roxx say, let's see what they're going to, what direction they're going to take, Miro now that he, won this match. And, well deservedly so, he won this match. So that's all I got to say.
All I gotta say, I don't know, like, what's the average lifespan of a snake, but assuming it's the same snake after all these years, whenever Miro tossed that snake up there from heaven, Macho Man say, "That's what you get!" Ooh, yeah!
Well, the snake that bit Macho Man was a cobra. Jake usually has a python otherwise, so come on, brother. Who knows?
Yeah, you got stepped into like a Slim Jim. Yeah.
I'll say this: it was good for Earthquake that he didn't exist in the Twitter, Facebook era, because he would have gotten crucified for. If they're mad at Miro for what he did, I mean, Earthquake sat on the fucking snake and then cooked it and fed it to Gorilla Monsoon on, prime time on Monday night. So I mean, can you imagine if there was Twitter back then? Jesus Christ!
Oh God.
They actually did get yelled at by PETA for that. Like, that was a whole big thing that happened. They got letters and shit. It was crazy.
No, man. Well, with that,
shit with my age here.
Yeah. Well, I mean, when we started watching wrestling, we were watching it with Bobby the Brain and Gorilla Monsoon, like, narrating. It was always they were a great team. But anyways, everyone went for Miro because we all agreed back then that it would be so incredibly stupid to give Miro the title and just drop it right away, So all of us went for Miro. So now all of us, Mark, Johnny, DJF, Ninja Panda, and Jack Knives, have 2 points each. So wow, that's pretty intense there, guys. And let's see what other match we have here. So now we got another big one. We got Hikaru Shida, the AEW Women's Champion for a year, defending her title against Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, with Reba, not Rebel. Or I should say Rebel, not Reba. And, what can I say? It was a pretty intense match. They went back and forth and everything. Hikaru Shida put up a hell of a good fight. I think there was at least one chance where I think it kind of looked like she was going to win it. But we all kind of saw the writing in the wall. In the end, Britt Baker did get her in the lockjaw submission hold and everything. I believe there was a moment where Reba was trying to cheat with the crutch, but She'd have stopped her and everything. So other than that, they Baker won it pretty clean and everything. I did see some comments which kind of made sense, but what could we do? They were saying it was a shame that like Hikaru Shida basically defended the title during the entire COVID era. That there was like a live crowd, and it sucked so much. And now that we have the live crowds back, as the first pay per view with a live crowd, it had to be the one where she drops the title. But unfortunately, what can I say? I mean, it's been that long, and we're really at the point that there's no one left to take the title from her. And there's been plenty of build up by now. Like it would have made much sense if she somehow beat Baker anyway. Because again, it really does come up to like, well, who's next and who's being built up. I mean, the only one I could imagine would have probably been Lucha Rosa with the whole thing about how she beat her in the lights out match or whatever, maybe. But
Yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate timing, definitely for Hikaru Shida. But like you said, and we've even talked about a couple of times on a couple of the other podcasts we've done. Whenever she's had a title defense come up, there's always one person in the circle who's like, well, I mean, she's probably going to lose it because, I mean, come on, how long can she keep it? And that seemed to be, it was almost like a running joke at one point amongst us whenever we would do that. So in a sense, it is kind of overdue. It's unfortunate for her, like you said, first time they get to have a live crowd back, and then that's what happens. So it's unfortunate for her. But yeah, it seemed like it was the right time, probably even the right opponent. I mean, they did a couple things over the last few months where they built somebody up just to lose to Shida because they had run out of opponents, and so that's what they had to do. Was they kept having to build new ones just to keep that going. So yeah, it feels like this was maybe, it was probably the right decision. I don't see anybody really arguing with it, and it seemed to go over pretty well with everybody for the most part. So what can you say? Sometimes you just got to do what you got to do.
Yeah. There's a picture that Sheeta posted of herself like on her knees, which I'm assuming is in tears. But I mean, it's like on one side it's personal, but the other side it's an Instagram. So how personal can it be? But it was kind of like even she said she knew it was time, but damn, this is hard. Like she understood, but it still hurt.
Yeah,
Like both, you know what I mean? Like both in and out of kayfabe.
That's totally understandable. I mean, let's face it. You're the champ. You've had a nice, long, leafy run, and it's time to give it up. I mean, it doesn't matter if you had it for like 100 minutes or 100 years. It's still gonna hurt when you lose that title. But when it comes down to it, Britt Baker pretty much has proven that she was worthy of getting the job done. And other than that one little interference by Rebel, which, she dang near pretty much got herself ejected, she fought her straight up. I mean, it was a good fight. There was a lot of changeovers. It felt like it could have gone anywhere. But, yeah, in the end of it, yeah, Britt Baker pulled it off. I mean, congrats to her.
This was actually probably one of my all-time favorite women's matches, and I've seen a vast majority of them because of like WWE and now AEW, and there was something special about this match. And you guys brought up the whole thing about the crowds, how it sucked that her first match in front of a big live crowd, she had to lose it. To me, AEW since the pandemic started has always had the crowd feel, even if they were just throwing some wrestlers out there on each side of the ring, there was still a crowd that they were performing for. So to me, I never actually processed that Cheetah wasn't defending in front of crowds. She always had people to perform in front of, and I think she held her own for a year against some really great talent. She had some great matches, and it's just Britt Baker's time. It's time for her to make a run with this belt and establish herself as a dominant force. I hope they don't turn her into a quote-unquote Charlotte Flair, but it's her time. It's time to push her. It's time to see what she can do. Can she be the face of the women's division? Can she hold that belt and draw on the ratings and get fans to buy in? If anything was proved at that event, is that the crowd was solidly behind her for sure. and almost to the point where when Shida was getting close calls, the crowd was kind of like, no, this isn't happening. We're not buying it. This is Britt's time. And every time Britt had a shot at the lockjaw, or she had some type of a pin, the crowd was red hot. They wanted it. They've been wanting it. And they built up the feud really well between Shida and Britt Baker. So I am not at all upset that Britt walked out with the belt. I'm excited to see where she's going with it. Curious where this leaves Shida. Is she going to just kind of fade into obscurity? Is she going to go back to Japan? I'm just curious where this leaves her. I wanted her to stay in the picture, but if she doesn't, hey, let's see who else is out there. There's a lot of great female talent on that roster. And like I said, probably one of my favorite matches I've ever seen between two women, outside of the Lights Out match, but we don't count that because it's quote-unquote unsanctioned, Lights Out. So, but all in all, great match. The crowd was red hot for this one, and the right person went over on this one.
Wait a second. You're saying it was better, in your opinion, than Stacy and Tori versus the Miller Lite Catfight Girls? You're honestly saying that?
Listen, that match was great for a different reason, and you know damn well what that reason was, okay, buddy? Your lotion was a little dry that night. You know what I'm saying? Like, you ran a little low on the bottom, okay? So, you can't even compare the two. Apples and oranges, wrestling, it is what it is. It's subjective, right?
Oh, goodness. But one thing I do want to say is that now, of course, it leads to a bigger question is whenever DJF and I get to hopefully meet Britt Baker in a couple of days, will she be bringing her title with her? That'd be interesting. I would love that.
Yeah,
Perfect photo op.
She's going to have that with her. I really do. That's a great photo op. So, I wasn't 100% sold on getting a pic with her yet. I wanted to see if she would walk out with that belt. But now, how do you pass up a shot with a brand new AEW Women's Champion, 2 weeks removed from a pay-per-view? So I think I might have to, take some advantage of that and get that picture.
Yeah. And not only that, but I ordered a shirt. I ordered one of the Britt Baker shirts. It got here in time, and I love that because sometimes I understand they're made to order shirts. They take a while, and I also know the pandemic has slowed down the mail service and stuff. But sometimes a good 2 or 3 weeks passes before you even get the your stuff has been shipped thing from Pro Wrestling Tees. I'm used to it, But damn, they shipped that fucker fast. And I got it within 2 weeks or week and a half. And I'm like, wow, okay. So I'll be wearing that at the con, man.
See, and you guys are over here talking about the Mark stuff, and I'm in the business, so I'm thinking, as far as getting together with her, I'm just thinking, geez, I need to scrape it. My bottom fronts, there's just something going on, and I need somebody who's accredited to take care of that. Fuck getting a picture. I'm just can I get some work done?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so what do I think about this match? I think it was pretty awesome. I really do think that Britt Baker, deserved this title. They were really building up this match really well. I do like the fact that, even though Hikaru Shida lost this match, it was still a good match overall. And in a way, it's kind of good that we kind of knew how talented and how good Hikaru Shida was. The fact that she won all those matches and all those titles, even during the pandemic. So, when Britt Baker wins this match, it actually gives more of a bigger reason to celebrate that, because you're not just fighting with just anybody. You're fighting with just the totally awesome Hikaru Shida, And I'm just more interested now in what they're going to do next with Britt Baker.
Yeah, and unless they do something new with Shida, some kind of new rivalry or whatever, this might be the last chance that you guys can do the Hikaru Shira joke.
Shira.
We did get a lot of miles out of it. Or maybe she'll come back and that'll be the new gimmick, That's how she gets herself back in the mix.
So anyways, in terms of who voted for who and whatever else, this time things have changed a little bit. Almost everyone voted for Britt Baker. Only Ninja Panda was the last remaining faithful person hoping for Shida to pull that one last win before eventually dropping it. Because we all know, if for whatever reason she won this one, like we all know she had to lose the next one because it's already been enough. It's already been enough. But anyways, yeah. So Mark, Johnny, DJF, and Jack Knives all got 3 points each. Ninja Panda's the only one behind with 2 points. So, just real quick, smaller news here that I also remembered that it came to my attention some time ago. While we're still on the topic of women's wrestling, because unfortunately, I think this is it in terms of women's wrestling for the rest of the pay per view. They just released Shayna or Shana. I forgot if it was pronounced Shayna or Shana, but that's too bad, man. I really wanted to see her back on regular TV, not just AEW Dark. Of course, as a Dragon Ball fan, I'm a big sucker for her Dragon Ball gimmick and stuff. Like for a couple of months, she was designing her outfit to look like Goku's. Then she changed it to look like Vegeta's, and she'd be doing the actual like power up poses and stuff during the match and everything. And damn, they just chose not to renew her contract or whatever.
I mean, yeah, that is a shame, and I did love the Dragon Ball gimmick. I thought that was pretty awesome. I mean, I wish all the best of luck to her. I don't know what happened in that situation, but I mean, I'm sure she'll definitely find some. She'll definitely find some work somewhere.
So now we got a real good match here that actually surprised us. We've got. I had no idea these guys had a name, but apparently a tag team called Men of the Year, Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky, going up against Darby Allin and Sting in an actual tag team match, but an actual like non-cinematic match. It was kind of interesting. Before we had no idea, with Sting being there due to his age and all that, we had no idea it was going to be like a legit match or a, cinematic one. But no, it was a legit match. And what can I say? Like, dude, I was surprised. I was surprised as all hell. It was a pretty good match, I gotta say. Everyone's got their things. What's his name? Darby Allin, as usual, test the limits of just how much fucking damage that kid can take and everything, including a spot where Ethan Page fucking gorilla presses him like over the ring and directly into like the front row, where apparently there's like, I guess it was like Darby Allin's brothers and family and shit, which I don't know how the fuck you do that, because on one side, like, yeah, Darby Allin, blah blah blah, kayfabe, blah blah blah, but what if like he lands in the way that he actually injures his brothers and shit, you know what I mean? Or maybe, I don't know, they're a bit bigger than him, maybe I don't know, it's just kind of weird, you know what I mean? It's like a spot with your family, like let's say let's say Jeter tosses Rikki Roxx in front of his family and stuff. What if he accidentally like squishes the missus or something? Because it's still like an unplanned spot. Like, I mean, you know what I mean? Like it's planned, but does the family know how to take that kind of bump? I always find that kind of risky. But yeah, that was insane when Ethan Page just fucking launched Darby in there. But of course, the biggest thing was Sting. What is Sting gonna do? And the very, very, very last few times I've ever seen, as an example, Hogan in the ring, the most Hogan does anymore is throw a couple of haymakers here and there and pose or whatever before either he gets thrown out or XYZ happens, and then of course whoever else is in there does the rest, But everyone gets to cheer and whatever and say that Hogan still got it, even though all he's doing is punches, nothing else, So I was expecting Sting to do something like that, But no, Sting was fucking flying. Sting was over the fucking place. He was giving fucking scorpion splashes like they were going out of style and everything. And I was like, holy fucking crap. And then fucking Scorpio Sky hit him with some kind of, I forgot, it was some kind of power slam or some shit that you would not want Sting to take. Fucking Sting no-sold it. He fucking got right back up like nothing and took him down. And I'm like, holy fucking shit, what the hell is going on? And everything. And then like Sting took off his shirt and shit, and obviously he's not going to be like super ripped or whatever, but like he didn't look that bad though. He didn't look like the camera wasn't really on him so close, but you know what I mean? He didn't exactly look like, okay, Grandpa, put your shirt back on. You know what I mean? He still looked like, yeah, let's not fuck with this guy. This is fucking the Crow on your ass. And then like Yeah, he was all over the fucking place. It was fucking amazing. And then there was like this crazy spot where he was doing the Scorpion Deathlock on one of the guys on Scorpio Sky while no, he was doing it on. Oh, I forgot. He was doing. Yeah, I think it was Scorpio Sky. While no, I'm sorry. It was doing on Ethan Page while Scorpio Sky had Darby Allin in a similar type lock in a way that both Darby and Ethan were face to face, so they're trading shots while they're still like trapping the submission moves. That was fucking entertaining. And then near the end, Scorpio Sky delivered a couple of harsh kicks and shit, and Sting did like the heroic type no sell thing. But I'm still like, you know what I mean? Like at that age to no sell that shit and still look good doing it, and he fucking just picked them up and fucking slammed them down and everything. The Scorpion Slam, whatever the fuck you call it. And I was just so impressed because another thing to note is during the whole thing, Sting looked good. He wasn't like gassed or anything. You'd expect him to do a couple of things and be fucking breathing hard at fucking Goldberg and shit. But he was like, it just blew my mind. I'm like, and people were posting, like, he's 62 by the way. And I'm like, what? Like, dude. Like, I think of all these people that get into the ring that are of that age, including like Jericho, because Jericho's obviously, he had a little bit too much bubbly and stuff like that. He's slower. Like Sting looked like one of the best guys of advanced age making a comeback ever, man. Like I can't get over that, man. Like that made my night. That made my night. I was like, man, I was bouncing off the walls and that shit, man. That was like, whatever. I could just go on and on repeating myself over and over. But that just threw me off. I was so fucking surprised. That's like if we fucking got, I don't know, man. It's like we got fucking Sergeant Slaughter and shit, and he's still wrestling exactly the same now as he did back then. You're like, what the fuck? It's like you just don't expect that, man. Like I don't know what workout regimen or what. And that's the thing though. After WWE nearly permanently put him out of commission for whatever, right? And he still bounced back after that to put up this performance. Just damn, man. God damn. Okay, that's enough marking out for me. I'll let you guys take it, but.
Well, I feel like this match more so than any that he's had in a while was designed to kind of like show that the last few years, and especially the WWE run, it was not all that he was capable of, and that there was still a lot left. Sting, he always took good care of himself, other than the knee injury in 1990, and then of course the neck injury with Rollins. Aside from that, he was never hurt very often. You brought up Hogan before and how limited he became after a certain age and this and that, but you got to remember too, he had dozens and dozens of really bad injuries along the way, and so did guys. Andre the Giant was barely mobile when he was 35, but Sting, he never really got hurt that often or that bad. He always was in shape, and he had a lot to prove going into this one. So I feel like by design, even though of course a lot of the build-up was about Darby Allin, which confused a lot of people because they were like, oh, well, you'd think Darby would have had something more to do with the finish because the whole angle and him getting thrown down the stairs and this and that. Like, why wasn't Darby the guy with the finish? But and there is some logic to that. But for me, it's kind of obvious that they really wanted, and Sting really wanted to show off, look, this is what I've got. This is what I can still do when I'm in there with the right people, and I'm not, being asked to do things that don't make sense or whatever. So, and that's good. I think it's good because you've had a lot of people, even on the internet, which is always full of idiots, but you got a lot of people like, oh, why is he even there? He's 62, and what's done is done, and he washed out at WWE. He's not relevant. He's not this. He's not that. Why should he even still be wrestling? And then to come out and have a match like that where it's like, oh, well, there you go. So, good for them, in my opinion.
Oh, yeah, that match was fucking amazing. That one actually brought me back to my childhood. Like, that was like looking at 90s Crow Sting all over again. The man can still go. Now, the part that kind of scared me, which was the part that Mark was talking about, he no-sold a off-the-rope cutter. And, like, the guy had full hold on his neck, and he no-sold it, and I'm just like, I was kind of worried about his neck, and they put him in a Scorpion Death Drop, like, right after. I'm just like, oh, wow. But, yeah, much props to his conditioning, because he was running around like his butt was on fire. Like, stinger splashes, Scorpion Death Drops, like, every chance he could get. I think there was even a couple of top rope moves, but, yeah, he's definitely still got it. And, I don't know what was going on with Darby and that whole, getting yeeted into his brother incident, but, I mean, it is what it is, but overall, it was still a damn good match.
I don't share Mark's excitement, but the match itself was pretty enjoyable. Seeing a 62-year-old man who can still go in a tag match setting. I mean, this was not Sting on his own. We have to keep that in mind. They, as Rikki would say, they used the resources correctly on this one. You didn't have to have Sting doing a 10 to 15-minute match by himself, and it wasn't cinematic. This was an opportunity for Darby to carry most of the match. Sting had some excellent moments throughout the match. You're right. It does bring back some childhood memories of Sting being the Crow Sting or even Surfer Sting, just being able to hit that stinger splash. It was great. I kind of cringed every time he took into the air, and anything he did with a dive or the stinger splash, you worry about like whiplash and things like that. Given his track history with injuries in WWE, and it's funny that you mentioned something about him washing out of WWE, and that's unfortunately the legacy he will have with WWE is that, he was too old, he got injured, it was a failed run. Things happen. It wasn't his fault. It wasn't anything he did wrong. It was just, a lot of things that played into a couple of moments. And no, it's not his legacy. He's getting a chance to help rebuild that. And if you were a true Sting fan, I am. If you are, you know that WWE run was a joke. It was meant for nothing more than WWE to say, we crushed the last WCW guy. We used him to get Rollins over, and then we just washed our hands of him. We're done with him. That's not what real fans will ever remember about Sting. It's the great moments with Flair, the great moments for the U.S. title, and then the Crow Sting and the feud with Hogan when he returned back. And now we're getting another memory being built with his run with Darby and helping a younger talent take that next step to a main event level. And along the way, he's taking guys like Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page and helping bring them to the forefront as well. So I enjoyed this match. It didn't have to be anything 5 stars. I wasn't expecting it to be. It definitely exceeded my expectations, and I love that Sting and Darby got the nod. And that double spot with Ethan Page and Darby just slapping each other while they're both in submission holds was hilarious. They have such a heated rivalry outside of AEW prior to everything. I would love to see them rehash that because it was brutal. It was hardcore. That's the stuff where it's long-term storytelling. And if they tie that into the future moving forward, I think we've got a really great feud lined up between Cage and Darby. So all in all, great stuff.
Wow, what can I say? I mean, this is, it's really great what they did with Sting. Just like what you guys said, I mean, Sting is in top shape. He is 62 years old. He can still do all the very complicated moves. He doesn't look like he's getting worn out anytime soon. And I mean, of course, it's still like Sting with Darby added as a tag team. It's not like he's doing everything by himself. But still, you still got to give credit where credit is due. And, I'm just really proud that the AEW is taking Sting to the right direction. Because, Sting really is a very good, talented wrestler. So, yeah, WWE, they really messed that one up. So it's good that AEW is actually, redeeming Sting. They believe in him. Also, what can I say? It's pretty awesome. The whole match was very good. It was very intense. if I don't remember, I think the match was kind of long because yeah, come on, like you're playing, you're having Sting versus Scorpio Sky, which is also a very good wrestler. Ethan Page, Darby Allin. It was just like a very action-packed, thrilled match. There's like some emotions here and there, going on. But yeah, it was pretty good, and I did like how you pretty much have like the two scorpions in the ring. The two Scorpio. Scorpio Sky versus Sting, and I think that's why they kind of make it like that up, but yeah, that was pretty awesome. But I have to say, just seeing Sting able to pick up Scorpio Sky with one hand and slam him down the ring like that, like, holy shit. Don't mess with Sting. That's all I can say.
Yeah, I think, you talked a couple minutes ago about, the grand scheme of Sting's legacy and everything like that. I think ultimately two things that are going to be taken away when all is said and done and the final chapter of Sting's career is written. Number one, I don't think it's even, at this point it's official, even though he's only done a little bit in AEW so far, I think it's going to be official that the WWE run was by far the worst black mark on Sting's entire career, because he's already done more of relevance in AEW than he ever did there. But secondly, I think the biggest thing about the latter-day career of Sting, post-2000, people are going to look back on and be like, how many final chapters has this guy had? I mean, 2001 in WWA over in Australia, that was like the first final chapter, right? And then he came into NWA TNA, and that was another final chapter. And here it is 20 years later, and here's one more, right? It's amazing. It really is. He's had a longer career putting one more chapter in the book than he did during his main fucking run from 88 to 2000. He keeps finding new life. It's unreal. He's had more
like
fucking
the Michael
comebacks.
Jordan of wrestling, pretty much.
Yeah, he spent more of his career making comebacks than he did having a fucking straight career.
And that's another thing that you brought up. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, when all is said and done, and it's time to, really hang up the boots and make it stick this time, you're going to look back and you're going to see his WCW career, his TNA career, his hopefully AEW career, and WWE, the grand almighty whatever the fuck, is going to be like a footnote.
Yeah, it was garbage. And it could have been it was supposed to be the big exclamation point at the end, right? Instead it was fucking dog shit.
Yeah, the only way it's going to count is just because these fuckers like to retcon everything and try to make it sound like, everything that's ever been done in WCW now also counts as WWE. Har, har, har. No, it fucking doesn't. No, it fucking doesn't. I never count that shit.
They put him in the Hall of Fame, so by their legacy, by their standards, that's going to be a thing. And, good for him, And he got that video game money and everything, which is always done. But, it didn't do much for his overall reputation. I think we all agree on that.
Yeah. And that's the thing, whenever people always ask me stuff, in my opinion, they're always going to be two separate entities. I know in the end, WWE ended up buying them out and shit, but for me, stuff like the original NWO and Harlem Heat and Diamond Dallas Page run in WCW and all that stuff, I count that as WCW, its own separate thing, nothing to do with WWE. Regardless of them trying to make it all one thing, no, fuck you all. Anyways, let me see here. So this one, once again, no one won it because all of us were assuming that, if it was going to be a real match, obviously with Sting, we were not expecting him to be fucking Fountain of Youth Sting. That's his new gimmick, probably. We were not expecting this to happen, so all of us were rooting for Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page. The closest one was Ninja Panda, but he still did say specifically If it's a cinematic match, I'll give it to Sting and Darby. If it's a real match, I'm giving it to Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page. So none of us got that one right. So that was like, wow.
There you go.
Then we got the two big main events here. First one is the infamous three-way of Kenny Omega, Orange Cassidy, and Pac for the AEW World Championship. And what can I say? It was a hell of a match. Maybe some of you guys could do the play-by-play a bit better than I can. I just remember it was a fucking intense hell of a match. Everyone did their part. Everyone, like, you know, you got Pac with his moves and them damn painful-looking kicks. You got Omega with all his moves. They both underestimated Cassidy a couple of times to their detriment because, of course, Pockets would turn the tables on them. The thing I remember the most was there was a moment where, where Pac actually landed the Black Arrow on Omega, and it looked like that was it. Right there. There it is. And Cassidy ran in the perfect time to surprisingly throw Pac out and pin him, and he legit would have won if Don Callis didn't come up and pull, I forgot if he here pulled the ref out. I think he pulled the ref out to stop the count. And everyone was literally saying, fuck you, Callis. Fuck you, Callis. Like in the crowd and everything, because like that was right there, Orange Cassidy's shot. And the crowd was like going fucking insane. And for me, like, I'm like, you know, that's a guy you sort of don't expect to win because whatever. But that moment made me believe it. I was like, wow. Like, if he was going to win it, that's exactly how he would have won it. Like, taking advantage of someone else's finisher, just shove the dude out of the way, take the pin for yourself. Like, holy fucking crap. But then we had more close calls and stuff. And, what's his name? Pac grabbed Cassidy in the what's that move of his called? Is it called the Berserker or something? Brutalizer, thank you. And you know, Cassidy was gonna fade out, and Kenny was trying to break it up, but he couldn't. So in his desperation, he fucking knocks the ref out and shit. And we're like, oh, okay, here we go. And then this is the part that everyone is bitching about, which is the part that Jack Nash would have surely have brought up if he was here, which DJF does not agree with. But and I'm sure when Ricky hears this, yeah, he'll also not have fun with that. But the whole gimmick now is that Kenny Omega got a shitload of belts. He got the AEW belt, the Impact belt, I think the NWA belt, and some other, the AAA belt too. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
Yep.
So with people propping him up, he grabs one of the belts. I forget the order. It doesn't really matter. Runs the belt right into Pac's face. Pac somehow gets back up. So he grabs another belt, runs that belt into his face. He literally runs all the belts into his face, one by one. Of course, the AEW belt being like the final shot. And that's how he finally pins him, I believe, and wins the match. And, you know, tomfoolery all around and everything. But yeah, Jackknife's biggest critique, I'll leave that discussion for you guys, is that usually in wrestling, when one of those belts like knock you in the face, like that's it. That's the showstopper right there. And yet Pac somehow kept getting up and taking various belts of various shapes and sizes across the noggin until that final one. Well, I guess you could probably say that, hey, the AEW belts, you know, it's built of stronger stuff. All them little wimpy, sissy, pantsy belts from that there other companies can't compete. But when the AEW belt hits you, then your fucking ass is going down and staying down. I guess that's one way to explain it, right? But well, I'll leave the floor open to you guys.
So I'll jump in first on this one. I know me and Jack had a conversation the other day with the whole belt shot thing. Just a little takeaway from that. What I love the most about what happened during that spot, despite all the hate for it, is I loved Callis tossing every belt to Kenny Omega. He tossed every belt at him, but then he handed the AEW title to him. I love that because it showed that in that moment, the AEW title meant everything to Kenny Omega. So he was showing it respect before he then clobbered, Pac upside the head with it. And I believe the match, if I remember correctly, doesn't it end with a roll-up? He surprises Orange Cassidy with a roll-up, which is one of my all-time favorite types of roll-ups, where you get that sneaky last second roll them backwards onto their shoulders and get the pin. It was a great ending. I know the belt spot just rubbed a lot of people the wrong way, but if we pull that out, if we just disregard that for the time being, the match itself was really good. It was a strong, great three-way. It was never going to be top 5. It could have been, but it wasn't. I went back and actually watched it again this week. I had a chance to sit down and watch it again. I think I was more caught up in the moment when I was watching it about how great it was. And then watching back, I was like, okay, it was a decent three-way. It wasn't the best I've ever seen. To me, the best three-way dance of all time was Joe, Styles, and Daniels at Unbreakable for TNA. So it was still a great match. Kenny was a dick the entire match. Cal was coming down and getting involved. I think we all knew shenanigans were going to break out during this one. It protects Kenny because he's got to go over. He's got to keep that belt. He's a dick. It is what it is. He's elite for a reason. And I was just really shocked, though, because with the crowd being so red hot for Orange Cassidy, if there was ever going to be a time to put that strap on him and just send him to the moon, that was the perfect opportunity. It was one of those real, just homegrown moments. Like, it was pure. And I think if he had won the belt, I don't think there would have been anybody in that crowd that was upset. The crowd was solidly behind him. But Kenny getting the dupe, that's how it was going to happen. I think we kind of just had that feeling. Pac looked amazing in this match, though. The guy is just so talented, and I love seeing what he does. And that, the red arrow, I believe he hit, green arrow, black arrow, whatever he calls it now, he hit that off the top while I'm the two guys. I just love that moment. That was a great spot in the match. So it was a great title match. I know it's got some flaws, but it was a good match, and the right person went over, even though I would have loved Tristan Cassidy get the nod in front of that crowd.
Yeah, I was actually surprised by that. I thought it was going to be Pac that was going to be getting robbed, which, I mean, yeah, he did. He got clobbered with 4 belts, but when it came down to the very end of it, I thought it was going to be Pac. I was surprised that it was Orange Cassidy that actually got robbed of the win. Now, as far as that being a rivalry, I'm not too sure. I still think it's going to be between Kenny and Pac. But overall, it was still a good match. It was very, very fast-paced. It was, there were actually some spots where I was actually like, Pac might actually win this thing. And then Orange Cassidy would just come out of nowhere, guns a-blazing, which is weird for me to say about him. And, take it away from both of them. So, yeah, overall, it was a pretty hype match. I dig it. I like it. It was a good match.
I mean, with the thing with the belts, it fits Kenny's gimmick. It fits the way he does things. Personally, if you're gonna hit a guy with a belt, let alone 4 belts, like, that should be the finish. It's anything you do after something like that's going to be a little anticlimactic, It's like, even doing it 4 times is a little bit anticlimactic, just because you already did it once, right? Especially not spaced out at all, but just like boom, 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 right in a row. That is what that is. I get what they were doing, and it's not even like, I'm not saying it was the worst thing in the world or this or that. It fits the cutesy way of doing things that Kenny Olivier likes to do. So I didn't find it as blasphemous as some, but I mean, I'm of the opinion that if you're going to do something like that, it should at least be the finish in and of itself. But, I on the whole, if we're looking at it as a match and a story, it was a lot to like about it. It was good. It was... I personally didn't think... I wasn't part of the predictions. I was drunk as shit. I was at a wedding last time, so I couldn't be part of the prediction podcast. But I personally didn't think that Kenny was going to drop the belt to anybody on that night. So that what's left is just the match itself. I think they did really good with what they had. I would have had the finish go a little different, obviously. But now, correct me if I'm wrong, but were some people straight up saying this was the best three-way they'd ever seen? Was that correct?
Yeah, there was a lot of hype in the internet where people were just saying that they were praising it like it was the best three-way dance they had ever seen.
The best three-way they've ever seen.
Yeah.
Now the best three-way I ever seen was Sandra Romaine and two guys whose names I don't remember.
Subjective pro wrestling. You never know who's going to steal the show, and it could be just three randoms. You never know. But I didn't see this being the best three-way dance ever, being up in that echelon. There's just so many better three-way dances I've come across, and so. But people, I think it was more the crowd. I think was generating a lot of that because of how hot the crowd was. It made it seem like it was bigger than it actually was.
I think even if we take it back to the early '80s, and then you've got Ginger Lynn, Peter North, and some other chick whose name escapes me, I think was maybe even a better three-way.
See what you did there.
See, nobody popped for Sandra Romaine, so I had to dig a little deeper into the pocket.
Well, at least on a good note, I mean, everybody's raving about the 4 belt shots. At least Kenny Omega's not the Super Dragon status, because if that was the case, we'd definitely be checking for Pac for brain damage.
Mercy. He beat him with the entire J-Crown. The whole fucking thing. 9 belt shots in a row. That would have been... See, that would have been one of those things where towards the middle it would have become stupid, but then by the, 9th belt shot, it would have been cool again.
It's like 9 belt shots and a trophy.
Okay, so my opinion on this whole match, not that I remember too much, because there's a lot going on in this kind of match, this whole match. But, all I can remember is that there were moments where I was actually, rooting for Orange Cassidy, because there were moments that it looked like he was going to legit win this match. So it was, it is what it is, but at the same hand, I mean, it's Kenny Omega we're talking about. He's an extremely talented wrestler. I mean, of course, they're making him super, heel and all that shit, but, legit, he is extremely talented. I mean, he did earn all those belts and all those wrestling organizations. So, you do have to give credit on that. And honestly, because Kenny Omega is, all like a douchebag in this match, I really didn't know people were making a big deal out of him using all the belts to hit Pac. I think it actually fit well with his gimmick in this type of match. It actually made the match kind of entertaining in a way. So I just understand the whole people getting too upset over it. I mean, maybe more in the sense that maybe it's kind of fake that come on, just one big belt could just knock a guy down, okay, maybe in that aspect, but other than that, I didn't get quote unquote triggered by that,
Well, real quick, just to not to cut you off, but just to go back to that specific thing. It's like we were saying the other day in a chat. For me, it was kind of just the fact that if you're going to do something like that, not have that be the finish specifically, kind of doesn't make sense. And I brought up there was an old match with Hogan and Sergeant Slaughter, where it was the payoff for the whole feud, and after Sarge burned Hogan with a fireball. And so they did this show at the Philly Spectrum, and Hogan comes back, and he hits Sarge in the face with a fucking fireball. And you'd think that would be the finish, but no. They, went for, 2 more minutes after that. And it just killed the fireball. It was if you do something like that, nothing you do after that is going to be as big or as meaningful. So just make that be the fucking finish. So it's like we joked a second ago about how if Ultimo Dragon and his fucking J-Cup belts, if that was the spot, it'd be one thing if he hit the guy with 9 title belts, but then if he hit the guy with 9 title belts and then pinned him with the fucking La Magistra cradle, like, that would have been dumb. So it's like, it's one thing to do something that's like, maybe it works, maybe it doesn't, but if you're going to do something like that bold, in my personal, humble, professional opinion, make that be the fucking finish.
Okay, I do agree on that aspect. I mean, they probably should have went with that route instead.
I'm just saying that could be their defense. Like, you could take a hit from any of them other wimpy ass, other company belts, but when the AEW belt hits you, your ass going down.
But just remember, he didn't kick out of a belt shot, though. That's what I think is being misunderstood. He hit him with 4 belts, and as soon as Kenny turned around with the AEW title, he got nailed with the orange punch. So it wasn't like he wasn't going to eventually pin Pac. It's just he never got the chance to, because then it literally leads right into orange punch and then the roll-up. So Pac wasn't even involved in the final count. So if we're going to do a belt spot, I guess the argument is, could you have just gotten away with 1 belt if you're just going to go with the orange punch and the roll-up?
Right.
That's 4.
Right. If that's not going to be the ultimate moment, then why do you need to do it the way they did it, is my point. If he's going to chainsaw run him with a fucking bunch of title belts, then that should be where the bell rings. No matter who's getting pinned or taken or whatever, that should be the finish right there. Otherwise, no, just do it once. You don't have to do it 4 times if the guy's just going to turn around and get punched in the face and then pin him with a roll-up. Like, that makes the fucking 4 belt shots mean nothing now. Or at least not as meaningful as they should be. It's like they say, it's like Cornette and all these other guys say about wrestling in general. It's less about what you do. Because even something like that, some people scream, oh, he didn't need to hit him with 4 belts. If you do that in the right place of a match, you can get away with it. And that's the whole thing. It's about what is ultimately the last thing that happens before the bell rings. If you're going to hit a guy with a fucking crucifix, why throw a fireball at him, If you're going to have a guy fall over from a fucking stiff breeze, why shoot him with a bazooka?
Everyone except for Ninja Panda went for Kenny. Ninja Panda went for Pac. So everyone gets a point except for Ninja Panda. So that gives 4 points for Mark, 4 points for Johnny, 4 points for DJF, 4 points for Jack Knives, and only 2 points for Ninja Panda. Oh my goodness, dude. And...
oh my god, you're going to feed me to Nyla Rose, aren't you?
Yep.
I know you're gonna...
oh yeah. And finally, we got the big one here. The big main event here. We got the Inner Circle comprised of Chris Jericho, Le Champion, of the little bit of the bubbly, Jake Hager, Sammy
too much bubbly.
Yeah, a little too much bubbly. Sammy Guevara, Santana and Ortiz up against the Pinnacle, which is MJF, no relation to DJF, or maybe there's a relation, I don't know. They're both similar in many ways. We got Sean Spears, we got Wardlow, we got Cash Wheeler and Dax Harwood, and of course Tully Blanchard's watching over some of them. And it's basically the Stadium Stampede match part 2. And of course the big stipulation is that if the Pinnacle were to win this match, that would have been the end for the Inner Circle. That would have been where they would have parted ways. So, what can I say? It was a very cinematic match. I'll just kind of give some parts. You guys can mention the rest of the thing or whatever. MJF showed up in a limo, and he's looking for the Inner Circle. The Inner Circle, they all actually bungee jump off like the top of the stadium thing to make like their big epic, entrance. They all chase DJF into the limo. You're kind of thinking that the Pinnacle, the rest of the guys are in there too, but no. They show up on a separate vehicle. Then the fighting starts. They go into the stadium. Everyone's got their separate little scenes and altercations here and there. Basically, Jericho was just kicking the crap out of MJF throughout the entire building, like going to different office buildings and just throwing shit to him and stapling notes to his forehead and throwing fucking laptops at him and just whatever. I did like that, though. I did like that even though MJF did get a couple of, comebacks here and there, Jericho was for the most part dominating that whole part. Shawn Spears was in some epic room full of thousands of chairs. He likes chairs. And him and Guevara went at it, and they were like fighting in areas, and I guess he left Guevara handcuffed to something, but hey, we got bolt cutters in the area, that's convenient. And Hager and Wardlow mostly fought it out kind of near a meat locker type area to even get inside, and there are actually like giant slabs of meat there as they're fighting, kind of like like Rocky and stuff. And then the part that really got me for the nostalgia, for the feels, because orale arriba la grasa, we got Ortiz and Santana going into the bar and running into FTR, Tully Blanchard, and they take a couple of shots, they start fighting, but you realize that the DJ with the cool music is actually K-Dog himself, Conan, so it's kind of cool cameo there, and they're fighting it out in the bar and shit like that. And near the end, Sammy Guevara grabs Shawn Spears to take him to the ring, and there's a scary spot where Jericho and MJF are, back into the crowd, and obviously they weren't going to do it, but it still looks scary as fuck, where it kind of looked like MJF was actually going to throw fucking Jericho off the top there, which would have literally been fatal if it was real. But you know how it is, just put him there long enough to get everyone to gasp. But in the end, Sammy manages to pin Guevara. What? Sammy manages to pin Shawn Spears in the ring, and there you go, he's the winner. And of course, the Inner Circle is not over for them yet, and it's super awesome. And that was, of course, a feel-good moment. And of course, it was awesome also hearing the entire fucking crowd sing, Judas and everything. Although for me, it was kind of weird because I was thinking, wait a minute, so like this is the main event, and they're watching at least half of it like on a big TV screen, like what? But I was entertained. I loved it. It was good. And what do y'all think?
I thought it was pretty good. The main person I was really keeping an eye on was Sammy Guevara. Like, Sammy was on fire in that whole ordeal. Like, when him and Blanchard went in the room of chairs, it almost looked like something out of an action movie when he finally got out of the handcuffs. So I thought that was actually pretty good. The Jack Yeager deal and the whole freezer incident, that wasn't either here or there. It was just kind of blah. Now the bar scene when Conan showed up, I had a good laugh out of that. But it was a fun match. It wasn't bad. It wasn't good. It was just fun.
Yeah, I think fun's the best way to describe this match. I appreciate them giving us a nice tour of the stadium, though. That was a nice touch. And back to Mark's point, I was really surprised when I heard that this was going on last. I was watching the event with my wife, and I looked at her, I was like, I'd be really pissed if I was there right now. And she's like, why? And I said, because you're going to tell me I paid all this money for a ticket to go sit at a pay-per-view, and I got to watch the main event on a screen? Like, that pisses me off. Like, why wouldn't you end with the Omega match? I know you want to end on a feel-good note, but I'd rather have the main event be in the arena. So when they finally made it back out, I was like, okay, thank God they're going to finish in front of the fans, because there's no way in hell you can finish this match without being in front of the fans after waiting so long to have an audience to perform in front of. Guevara has been the MVP of this feud for quite some time now. He looked amazing at Blood and Guts. He looked great in this as well. The Shawn Spears chair room was a little weird, but it is what it is on that. The Santana Ortiz FTR thing was pretty funny. Not sure why the FTR was kind of hanging out in the bar, not doing much. You're supposed to be in a fight, and you guys are just hanging out at the bar with Tully having a drink. Okay, cool, whatever. Wardlow and Jake Hager, they just got to keep these guys apart. It's not like Miro and Lance Archer. These are two houses that just don't work well together. So I'm thankful that we didn't go too much with them. the Jericho and MJF stuff was gold. I loved it. It was just funny. It was funny watching MJF just get his ass beat. The staple spot got a pop out of me. I really enjoyed that one. Or seeing Urban Meyer and Charlie Strong just having a random meeting during this was pretty funny as well. And him wishing him best of luck this season was a nice touch as well. But again, back to Sammy, great ending. I think it kind of took people by surprise that like the rest of the two groups didn't show up, and it did finish with a big schmaz in the middle of the ring. But Sammy got the juke, he got the win, he got to be the hero of the night, and it ended on a positive note, and the crowd went home happy. So I enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun. I didn't go into this expecting anything serious. It wasn't as good as the first Stadium Stampede, but it was good for what it was.
Yeah, I think they structured it well for what it needed to be, and like you said, having the match actually finish in the ring, you should always do that if you have that within your power. Even if you start elsewhere, or let's face it, even the Hollywood backlot brawl, right, with Piper and Goldust, that still technically ended in the ring. So, it just has to do with certain unspoken rules of presentation, I guess you'd say. But again, back to use of resources, they did the most I think they possibly could with that kind of a match, and taking it from A to Z and all over, and making use of the different environments and space and things like that, and the characters involved and the mini feuds in between. Some work better than others, obviously. But yeah, I think that it was a good showcase in the end for Guevara. I think they're really obviously high on him. They're all in, so to speak, on him, and I think that's really clear after the way that ended. The biggest thing I could say about the whole thing is that I will never not hate Conan. And that's all I can say. Fuck Conan forever. That's my bullet on the end of that sentence.
Well, don't sugarcoat it, Ricky. Say what you really feel.
Fuck Conan forever. Although if he'd have thrown a shoe at somebody, that might have almost been worthwhile. Just because that was his whole thing for a while, and TNA was just like throwing a... Oh, God, I hate Conan.
Okay, so when I think about this match, obviously by now I also pretty much forgot everything, pretty much what happened at the match. I mean, all I know is that, this match actually shows the stadium. It shows every room. It shows the bar room. It's like, okay, cool. Like, you get to see all their nice facilities. But yeah, I did like the rivalry with MJF, with Chris Jericho and him, the limo and all that stuff. That was pretty fun. All I remember is that it was pretty awesome the way... I forgot what Sammy Guevara did, but it was pretty awesome that he was pretty much the face of the Inner Circle. That's because of him, they all won the match as a team. So I really do take a lot of good credit to Sammy Guevara, and I think they're going to, they're just going to promote him higher and higher.
Also, Sammy Guevara finally got to be the one to drive a golf cart and chase someone else for a change. I think he ran Sean Spears over with it. Oh, wow. Okay, so me and Jack were the only ones that were holding out hope for the Inner Circle, because I guess it kind of was like the Hikaru Shida kind of situation where you kind of feel the Inner Circle's been together long enough and it would kind of make sense for them to finally disband or whatever the hell. So everyone was really voting for the Pinnacle. So me and Jack were the only ones to vote for the Inner Circle. Everyone else went for the Pinnacle. So in the end of everything, we have 5 points for me, and 4 points for Johnny, 4 points for DJF, 5 points for Jackknives, and 2 points for Ninja Panda and a date with Nyla Rose.
Is that the punishment this time?
I mean, hey, plays his cards right. It may not be a punishment. Who knows?
How I was gonna say, how would we even enforce that? Because I'm sure Nyla's busy, for one. Maybe we should have a backup punishment just in case. Now, you may have heard that they just recently unearthed a cut of the Super Mario Brothers movie that's 20 minutes longer Now, if you can't get the date with Nyla Rose, I think we should force him to watch the extended cut of the Super Mario Brothers movie. That should be the punishment.
God, no.
What would they even put into those extra 20 minutes? Oh my god.
You'd have to ask Morton and Jenkel. I mean, they made the fucker.
Oh god.
Well, we can ask NinjaPanda once he watches it what those extra parts are. So
there it is.
Now it's
out there for free on the interwebs.
Oh god. Overall thoughts on the pay-per-view, guys. In my case, I love most of it. I love the majority of it. I know some parts I kind of forgot here and there, like the Casino Battle Royale, but I always like it. It's entertaining, and it's a chance to see some of the other guys that usually don't get a chance to be on TV. But I'll just say what I said before. It was almost like a perfect show. The only real stinker was Cody versus Ogogo. Everything else, at least one way or another, was entertaining. Be it, Moxley and Kingston using like their own Nikes up against the Young Bucks' faces or whatever, or how entertaining the three-way match was despite Kenny winning was so entertaining. The Casino Battle Royale was still awesome. Everything had a good point somewhere. No match was bad. Just a Cody and a Go-Go one. And to be honest, like I know Cody's kind of like, I guess he has to be there always for whatever reason, but like, honestly speaking, this pay-per-view, it really could have gone without him. It really could have gone without him. Like I know he's too proud to not be in it, but what they should have done is, it should have been Cody rooting one of the new guys from his side, which I don't know what they are, versus QT Marshall supporting Anthony Ogogo. Make the two new guys there, and Cody and Marshall are just there to root for their guys, but not actually being in the match, or just make a tag match, or I don't know. But this pay-per-view really could have, like, you could have had a break from Cody. I don't know. Or at the very least, Ogogo should have gone over or something. I don't know.
I think A to Z, I think they did a good show as far as kind of, for being the first show back in front of a real crowd, a real audience, it was wise to do a lot of the decisions that they made, having an end on a feel-good moment, providing a lot of scenarios that were triumphant, for lack of a better word. I mean, the whole point seemed to be like, hey, look, we're back, this is the deal, and, we're going to bring everybody in, and we're the first real crowd-heavy show we've had in a year. We're going to send everybody home ecstatic, and I think they did that. When it comes to making predictions, we've talked again in the past about how tough it can be to make predictions on these AEW shows sometimes, because we don't know what kind of surprises they're going to roll out, and we also don't know how they're going to structure the show. Is this tag match going to be a cinematic match or a real match? Is the title match going to be the ender of the show, or is it going to be the Stadium Stampede? And things that we don't know will often go into making some of those predictions. Now, if you knew for a fact that Stadium Stampede was going to be the go-home, then that right there changes the way you might predict. And you think, okay, yeah, they're going to want to send the crowd home happy. Whereas otherwise, if that was like the third match on the card, you might think more heavily towards, inner circle, break them up, it's over, it's done. But just by changing or knowing where that match is going to take place changes the way you think of that match. Which goes back to what we were saying before about the finish of the Omega match. It's not necessarily what you do in a match, on a show. It's when you do it, how you execute it, that can change the entire context of it. So I think that, again, use of resources, I think that's one of the best things you could describe this particular show as being, is they used all their resources, they used it well to great effect. The first big show in front of a real crowd in a long, long time, and they made the most of it. I mean, nothing about it being perfect, but I mean, when is it ever, first of all, and did it have to be, right? So That's what I would say. That, and if Conan didn't throw a shoe, what the fuck was he there for? Would be the other thing I would say.
I think the show as a whole was tops. From top to bottom, I think they did a really good job building a card and delivering on it from start to finish. And it's tough. Like, it's just like you said, Ricky, though. Like, if you told me the Stadium Stampede is going to close out the show, first crowd out, yeah, I'm obviously going to go with Inner Circle because you want the crowd to go home happy with the first big show. But that's part of the fun of picking these. And a lot of these, I'm happy I got wrong. I love the fact that Christian didn't win, even though I picked him. I love the fact that, Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky didn't win because that meant Sting got some more, oomph to his run, and Darby got a win back after losing to Miro a couple weeks back. So it's okay to be wrong. That's fine because I think it just added to the show and it made for a great show all around from top to bottom, like I said. And I just think AEW needs to be mindful of this moving forward, that when you book a card out and you deliver on the show, not everything has to be main event quality, 5-star, Hall of Fame worthy matches. Just go out there and give us the best show you can give us. And I think as a whole, AEW fans are pretty receptive to things and pretty open to new ideas and different styles of booking and outcomes and storylines. So this was a great show. This is something that they need to take and build on. And I think moving forward, we could see some really great shows. This is probably one of the best rosters of talent that isn't named WWE. And it's rare that you have a solid tag division, a solid women's division, a solid main event caliber talent crew. So I really, really have high hopes for them, as long as they don't go back down this rabbit hole of signing every damn WWE person that they've let go. There's no need for it. Use your resources. You got them in-house. You don't have to shop out of house to put on a good show. We don't need every talent on our show that was previously on a Raw or SmackDown. Use the guys you have now. And I mean, you guys they have so much talent now that they're having to build extra shows just to get that talent showcased. Right. So focus on what you got, because you got a great roster. And I know I'm tuning in every night that they're on. I'm watching that. I'm watching their pay-per-view. I'm keeping up with the storylines. I'm keeping up with the talent, seeing where things are going. So they've got a great fan base, and I think this was a show that really showed they're listening to their fans, and hopefully moving forward they'll keep listening to their fans and delivering shows like this.
Yeah, overall it was a good show. I mean, again, like you guys said, good utilization of their team and their staff. Now, DJF, I do have to kind of downplay you there. I know you said you like being wrong about this, but you like being wrong to an extent, because now you don't have to watch a crappy Mario Brothers movie. But
I actually like the Mario Brothers movie. I'll watch the extended cut. I'll take one for the team if I have to. If that'll make you sleep better tonight, I'll do it for you then, because I'm that kind of guy. I'll take that.
You can have it.
Okay, well, you better tell us what you thought of it, or what was new next time. We'll do like a, like we talked about the releases. Do a minor thing where you give us like your quick thoughts on what you thought of it, or at least tell us exactly what was new, because now I'm morbidly curious.
Yeah,
20 minutes. Real quick, I got to say too, though, isn't it amazing though? Back to the actual topic of the show. What a rebound right after the exploding ring fiasco of not too long ago, where, God. Everybody, the entire public perception, not just of the match, the show, but AEW as a company, people were like, oh God, what a fucking joke. And it was almost like back to the LOL TNA kind of days. But, look how sharply they were able to rebound, right? I mean, that, I think, needs to be spoken to big time.
Any thoughts on the show, Johnny? Did you give your thoughts?
Okay, I haven't put my thoughts yet. Okay, so what I thought about this pay-per-view, after that last fiasco, I forgot all about that, to be honest. But now that you mentioned it, I mean, yeah, that was a horrible fiasco of the previous pay-per-view. So, I'm glad that they did things the right way this time. Other than that, Cody match that was just there. I do think that this is a really great comeback. There's also a lot of emotions behind this whole pay-per-view, just for the fact that, it's back in business. Now we're at a state where everything is, starting to open up again, and they're doing this event and with a live audience again. So, going forward, that's just gonna make people, hopefully AEW will take routes going forward, and it was just gonna make people more, looking forward to more pay-per-view. Because it's pretty awesome that they did it the way they did it. The matches were good. The story behind the matches were pretty good. I like the fact that certain were, not predictable. Like things that could have been super predictable, like I don't know, like maybe the Hikaru Shida could have won this match again. Like no, she lost this match, So it's like moments like that really makes the event so enjoyable. I just like the whole thing. It was really one of the best pay-per-views they have done in a while to this. And again, just the fact that it's being done in current times, that things are slowly but surely getting better. It's a very good to redo the pay-per-view, it's a good start.
Yeah, what a rebound. I mean, I really, when you look at it contextually with where things were just a few weeks ago and now, when the worst thing you could say about a show was, the Cody segment was a little flat. I mean, you're still coming out way, way ahead. Hey, what about the big Mark Henry announcement that came out of that, too? We didn't even talk about that.
Yeah, I was gonna say some of the aftermath stuff. So Mark Henry was announced that he's all elite. Although it does sound it's gonna be similar to like Mr. Paul Wright, where it's like he'll be like doing announcing duties, but not actually getting to the ring. Now in this episode of Dynamite, he came back and they asked him, like, yo, are people want to know, are you gonna get back into the ring? And he said, well, I can't quite say yes now, but I'll tell you, I still got a lot left in the tank. I mean, everyone cheer. But then suddenly, Vicky Guerrero came out of nowhere with her infamous "excuse me" and all that, and basically shooed Mark Henry and Shivani out of the ring to announce that Andrade is now all elite. And Andrade showed up, and he said that he wants to become the new face of AEW, so watch out, all you guys.
Well, that gets back into what what we were just saying about how, you kind of hope that they're not just going to sign everybody who's drifting, but, they probably will. It's what they do,
Now, we didn't hear anything about...
how they manage it.
We didn't hear anything about Anal yet, but,
That's a given, though. For a fact, there's no way they won't bring her in.
I know, but the only hint...
I can't see her wrestling, but I can't see her wrestling there, because, A, they don't need her, and B, at that particular skill, she's pretty lousy. So I don't even think they need her in that role, but they're going to bring her in.
Yeah, because apparently with the Dark Order, Evil Uno is going to challenge Miro for the title, which obviously he's not going to win, but he's going to challenge her for the title, and apparently he has a good feeling about it or whatever. So Miro made a mini promo saying, like you're going to come at me, you better come at me with a lot more than like, I got a good feeling, you better come at me because you're positive that you can actually survive and beat me, whatever. And I forgot exactly what the line was. He did mention his wife, though. So that kind of already gave me like, He mentioned something like he was chilling with his wife when he heard about like Evil Uno, challenging him or whatever. And, up till now, Miro never even mentioned he had a wife or whatever, as his Miro character. So that kind of means we could probably expect to see Lana on the ring. And, I mean, I don't know, if Kip Sapien ever wants, like, a rematch, I mean, that does open the door to Miro and Lana versus Sapien and Penelope Ford. Even though, by all means, I'm assuming Ford should be able to dance circles around Lana, or whatever she's going to call herself.
Well, I like your suggestion, I mean, It's not just a double entendre. It's it's a whole thing. Lana backwards is anal. It's true on so many levels that how could you not go there?
Yeah, that whole concept as a whole sounds pretty good.
We're canceled.
Oh my god.
Yeah, we are done.
Oh my goodness. So, anyways, guys, I think we pretty much covered everything. Overall, AEW Dynamite, Double or Nothing 2021 edition was a great return to form, not just to make up for the previous little sparkler show of a pay per view, but also because this was like the big one coming back to a live crowd, and we'll see what happens. We'll see how they build up from here. I'm not sure if the next one's either All Out or Full Gear, because I think they were actually advertising both of them, so I can't tell which one is next officially. But a lot of Friday night versions of AEW now. And yeah, we have AEW Rampage around the corner, so a lot of AEW stuff going on. Personally, I kind of don't really want to see Strowman in AEW. I'm kind of curious about Ruby. They could get as many girls as they could possibly get. It would be interesting. I believe her what do you call it? Indie name was Heidi Loveless. So Lovelace. I don't know if it's pronounced either. It's spelled Lovelace, but something tells me it's pronounced Loveless. So I mean, we'll see if she comes back under that name or something. Because I assume Mr. McMahon owns the Ruby Riott name, but I mean, this could be her chance to be something. But
I could see her in AEW now. Strowman, on the other hand, if he really wants to make a name for himself, he needs to carry his ass to Japan. Just plain and simple.
He also needs to eat a lot of crow after all the stuff he said. Oh yeah, apparently people were rubbing. There's another tweet where he apparently said that he'll never hang up the boots unless he hangs them up with like WWE or something. Like the day he hangs up the boots at WWE, that's it for me. I'm done. And people are poking fun of like, let's see if he lives up to his word. But like honestly speaking, in all fairness, that's if he got to retire on his own, not if he got shoved out the door like what happened here. But I don't know. I don't know, man. I mean, the WWE style is kind of so, especially when you hear like how tame it is as opposed to where most of these wrestlers like where they like how the way they go at the indies or in Japan, then you gotta tone it down for WWE. I'm like, can someone like Braun Strowman, I guess, adapt to, I guess, actually wrestle, like, like to wrestle, like, for actual skill and not just, I'm a big guy, watch me turn over porta potties? Like,
I mean, I have doubts about that because he wasn't trained to be anything but that. I mean, it's kind of like when Mark Merrow left WCW and went to WWF, right? A lot of people said that he struggled to adapt because he wasn't a worker who came up under learning the basics or whatever. He was hired to be Johnny B. Bad and to work the Johnny B. Bad gimmick and to have Johnny B. Bad matches. And that's all he ever did, and then he couldn't be Johnny B. Bad anymore. And he had to go make his bones elsewhere without the safety net of the gimmick, and he kind of floundered a little bit, even though he still had all the physical tools, but he had to do things a different way than he'd always done them for 10 years, or, 6 years or whatever. So when you remove somebody from the environment where they've been sheltered and taken care of and only taught how to do things one way, yeah, there's usually some kind of a disconnect and a difficult transition there. It's just natural. That's the way these things work.
Yeah, because then you got guys like the Great Khali, the Giant Gonzalez. What was this most recent guy? The guy who went from jobber to champion in a weekend. What was the stupid name? Jinder Mahal and all them. Like I don't know. Like if you brought them over to like, or maybe take them back to the Indies or whatever. Like they probably would have to like hone in their craft. I don't know. But yeah, I kind of sort of don't want to see Strowman in AEW. I don't know. Aleister Black, I don't know. It could go either way. I'd be happy seeing him there. But I mean, like if I heard they went to Impact instead or something, I wouldn't be like too heartbroken. I don't know. I mean, it sounds stupid, but the only one I'm kind of excited to see would be if Ruby Riott did show up here in the women's roster and see what she does, see what she makes of herself. And like you said with Lana, I guess it's kind of sort of a given, whether we want to or not. It's kind of sort of a given.
Yeah, I mean, some things just make sense. One thing I'll say that I forgot to mention before, you mentioned all the, the kind of the questionable things that Strowman said last year, and now he's kind of having to eat some of those words. This goes for everybody in the business. There's lessons here to be learned, because now all those things he said are coming back to bite him. And it's like when over on the other hand, you got one of my other people who I don't have ever too many nice things to say about, despite what other people think. And that would be Shawn Michaels, who for 20 years he shit on guys for hanging on too long. He called people dinosaurs. He called people greedy. He said he was never going to prostitute himself for a paycheck and all of those things. And then he comes out and he puts on that horrible match in Saudi Arabia because he got paid $2 million for one match, right? And it was like, okay, I don't necessarily have a problem with you doing that, but my problem is that for so long you thumped your chest and shouted at the top of your lungs, that guy over there is a prostitute, and that guy over there doesn't have, what it takes, and he should hang it up. He shouldn't be pimping himself out for big money. Fuck those guys. And then he became one of those guys. And he put on a fucking shit dog of a match his own self. And then at the end, he laughed about it. Like, oh, I took the money. Like, yeah, I know. But, dude, it would have been less embarrassing if you hadn't talked all that shit, right? So now, nobody's immune to it, right? At the top or any level of the business. So I just always roll my eyes at everybody when they say dumb shit. Because it's like, they're before the grace go year. So just don't say stupid shit. Because eventually you're going to have to be tested on where your principles really lie. And like you said, Strowman, he said he was going to end his career in the WWE, and he shit on indie guys and this and that. Well, now he's got to put his money where his mouth is. We're going to see where his line is. We'll see where it goes. I'm not worried about him. I'm sure he'll be quote unquote fine no matter what he does, but I am kind of chuckling on the inside. Because, no, it's not good to see anybody lose their job. It's not good to see anybody struggle. But I'd be a lot more sympathetic if you hadn't talked all that shit. Bottom line.
Yeah,
They're finished with you.
people are joking stuff like, oh man, Strowman's probably going over his Twitter, deleting all them comments so he could look for a job in the indies.
I wouldn't be shocked if I run into him a few months down the road. We'll see what happens.
What's Braun Strowman doing at the Monster Factory?
I don't think they would have much to... I mean, you never know. They don't really bring in too many big names unless they worked there before. But you never know.
I mean, if anyone can actually pick up fucking Jeter, I mean, it'd be Strowman.
Oh, there you go.
Because Jeter's a fucking wall, man. Like, I'm like, holy fucking shit.
Oh, man, when he caught me with that spinning kick, I didn't even see that shit coming. I forgot he could do that shit.
Oh, man. So, anyways, amigos.
I don't know where Braun Strowman will be anytime soon, but I know where I will be on Saturday, June 12th.
And where's that?
That is going to be at Super Crazy Wrestling. I'm going to be making my return after the last month's show, and that is going to be... Hang on, let me check with my agent. What town are we in? Fuck, you're blowing it.
Oh, you're talking about okay. DJF. He had to leave.
Well, I'm going to be making my return to Super Crazy Wrestling in central New Jersey. I'm going to be hopefully getting a return match after the one I had there a few weeks ago. Always a lot of fun there, a lot of great talent, a lot of good up-and-coming guys. And even after that, there's going to be maybe, allegedly, fingers crossed, quote unquote, we'll see what happens. Next couple of months might be interesting with regard to the future of Rikki Roxx and potentially, let's see, you never know. Things that were dead and buried might be coming back to haunt people. We'll see what happens. Can't say too much right now, but big, huge things might be in the offering.
That'd be super awesome, dude.
Details to come. Might be in your neck of the woods.
That'd be awesome.
We'll see what happens.
Just this time, hopefully, no fake refs ruin things.
I'm pretty sure they're going to stay where they're at. I don't think they're going to follow me. Deptford. Okay, so Deptford, New Jersey is where I'm going to be on Saturday, June 12th for Super Crazy Wrestling, just to nail that.
There we go. All right, guys, so we're going to be signing off for tonight. Once again, awesome pay-per-view, except for Cody. We'll see what happens there. We'll see how long that overall feud's going to go for, too, because that's kind of We'll see what happens there. But, yeah, we'll see what happens. We'll see what other pay-per-views we cover, or if we ever do get other people to interview or whatever else. Just catch us here on the channel. That's the end of the Diving Cutter podcast. This is Mark Rodriguez signing off.
This is Johnny Rodriguez. Yeah, see you next time.
NinjaPanda 1980. Check out my work and my commissions on Instagram. See you guys later.
And this is Rikki Roxx signing out from the Diving Cutter podcast. I'll see you next Saturday, June 12th at Deptford, New Jersey for Super Crazy Wrestling as I make my return.
All right. Catch you on the flip side, guys.